Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're going to be replacing the charging port and loudspeaker on this Samsung Galaxy S23 Plus. Okay then guys, so welcome back. Today we're going to be working on this S23 Plus. Now I have actually worked on this S23 Plus a couple of months ago. I did a battery replacement for this customer, but they got back in contact with me and said that the charging port is a bit messed up. They tried to clean it out and had very little success, so they just wanted a replacement. And they've also said that the loudspeaker is a bit crackly and doesn't work very well. So I'm definitely going to check out that speaker issue before we go into it, and then we can get on with actually replacing the parts. So I'm just looking at the sound settings here, and if we go into where it says volume, if we just listen to the ringtone here, let's just see what it sounds like. So that definitely needs replacing, to be honest. Now the charging port kind of looks okay, but if they're saying they're having problems, then we're just going to go ahead and replace it anyway, and it should be good to go. So step one is always to power the device off. So if I go ahead here and power it off, and the next thing we want to do once the device is powered off is we want to get this back glass off. Now for me, it's going to be a little bit easier because I have had it off in the past. But what we need to do is we need to get over the heat pad and just warm it up, just so that the adhesive eases off. So I'll get the heat pad and we'll continue. Okay, so I've brought over the heat pad. So we need to set it between 70 and 80 degrees. 75 is fine. And just let the back of the device warm up just so that it eases the adhesive off. So if I just go ahead and turn it on now, as you can see, it's already set there to 70, but I'm just going to set it to 75 just so that we have quite a lot of heat there applied on the back. So we'll just wait a few minutes now for the phone to warm up, and then I will rejoin you when it's been about 3 or 4 minutes and we can get on with removing the back. Okay, so it's been a few minutes now, so I'm just going to turn off the heat pad. We're going to go ahead and get the back plate off. So obviously at this point the device will be pretty warm, but you should still be able to pick it up and hold it reasonably. And what you want to do initially is use something like this suction tool here, just to get either side of the phone and to just lift away the back plate slightly. Do not put too much pressure on with this, because this back plate is glass and you do not want to crack it or break it at all. So if you just put a little bit of pressure on, you should find that one of the corners starts to lift. And as you can see, because I've opened this up before, it's already starting there. As you can see down the side, it's starting to lift as I put the pressure on. Now, the moment you get a gap in the side, which I've got there, you want to use something like this thin plastic card just to get in between the side of the phone, like so. And then what you want to do is you want to go all the way around with this plastic card. Do not use something thick like this to go around the edge, because there is a risk that you will actually crack the glass because you're putting pressure on it. What you're doing with this plastic card is actually cutting through the adhesive, and it keeps the pressure off of this back plate. So I'm just going to remove the suction tool now that we've got the plastic card in. And I'm just going to go around the edge now, cutting through the adhesive. Again, this is going to be much easier for me because I have removed this before. If you're doing this for the first time, it is going to be a lot harder. Just take your time and go around nice and slowly, and you should be able to cut through the adhesive like I'm doing here, and it should be fine. And as you can see there, we've managed to get the back plate off without cracking it or anything. So that's what you're after. So ideally, the first thing you want to aim to do when you open up a device like this is to disconnect the battery. So the first step for that is to remove all of these screws up here that hold this plate down. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that first. So just before we actually lift the plate up, there is a connector just there. So if we just get a plastic pry tool under it, we should just be able to lift that up. And there is also another flex cable just there as well. So once you've disconnected both of those things, we should just be able to lift this plate up. And it may be stuck at the bottom here as well, so just carefully lift it up and unstick it as you go. And there we have the wireless charging pad and NFC connection. So now we've got access to the battery connector, we just want to remove that. So if we just go ahead with the plastic pry tool. So we also want to disconnect these 3 flex cables here as well. So we just go ahead and do that. Now we want to remove all of these screws here at the bottom. So we'll just go ahead and do that. Okay, so now that we've removed all those screws, we just want to get a thin screwdriver in this groove here. As you can see on the left, it's quite a small groove. So we'll be able to just pop this in and lift the speaker up like so. And once you've lifted it up so far, you should just be able to get your hand in there and lift it up and pull it out. Now I have just remembered that we didn't actually have to disconnect this flex cable here on the left. It's only these 2, but it doesn't matter because we can just connect that back up afterwards. Okay, so if you're just replacing the loudspeaker, then you can skip to the part where I put that back in. But obviously for me, I'm going to be replacing the charging board here at the bottom as well. So let's go ahead and do that. So we now just want to disconnect these 2 flex cables from the charging board here at the bottom. So if we just go ahead and disconnect those. And then you should be able to just move them out of the way once you've disconnected them from there. So now there's just 3 screws remaining there at the bottom. So if we just go ahead and do those. So we just get your SIM pin and you put it into the SIM tray slot. And you should just be able to remove the SIM card like so. Put that to one side. Now that we've removed the SIM card, you should just be able to lift out the tray. So we just get under here and do that. As you can see, it lifts straight out. I'm pulling it, and there you are. And there is our old charging board. So if we just move that to one side, bring over the new charging board. And we just want to place that back in. So just drop it down like so. It should fit in perfectly like that. There's also a little sticker on mine there that I just need to remove out of the way. There we go. So now we can reinsert these 3 screws, so let's just do that. And now we'll just reinsert the SIM card now that it's all fixed back in place. There we go. So next we want to bring over the flex cables. So we just line it up and use the plastic pry tool. Should just be able to push them straight back where they were before. And you can also reconnect all 3 there at the top as well. So once you're happy that you've connected all those up, we just want to bring over the new speaker if you're replacing the speaker. And we want to drop that down, hook it into the bottom there first, push it in, and then push it all down all the way like so. So we can now reinsert all of these screws at the bottom, so let's do that. Okay, so now that this speaker is back in place, we just need to reconnect the battery first. We need to bring over the wireless charging coil, and we need to drop the plate back on, like so. Then we just want to put in all of the screws that we removed originally. So let's do that. Okay, and just make sure that the pad is stuck down here at the bottom. And now we just want to reconnect both of these connectors here. So if we just go ahead and do that. Okay, now that we've done that, we can go ahead and power the phone on and test it. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so let's listen to it now. Much better. Yeah, that sounds much better. So looks like we've sorted that. So now let's check that it charges with the new charging port. And there we go. So as normal, we'll just check that it gets to 87%. And there we go, moments later, up to 87%. So that's all good as well. Okay, so the final stage of the operation is actually to reapply the back glass. And the first step of doing that is to make sure that the frame is completely clear of all the original adhesive and allow the backplate to stick a lot better. So in my scenario here, it isn't too bad to begin with, but I am just going to go around with some alcohol and just clear off any additional bits that we have left over. So once you're happy that this edge around the phone here is all clean, it's time to apply some new adhesive so we can stick the glass back down. So I'm going to be using this double-sided electronics repair tape. However, you can use anything that's quite thin and high tensile. If you use adhesive that's too thick, then the back will protrude beyond the edge here. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to just apply this to the back of the phone and then we can move on to the next step. Okay, so that's pretty much done. We've got a full loop of adhesive there. So the next thing to do is to bring over the back and just double check that the back plate is also clean. Now, mine isn't too bad. There is a bit of something there on the corner, which I'll just go ahead and clean off. It tends to be mainly where the cameras are here, just on the edge. Doesn't like to come off when you take the back off. So if we just get some alcohol on here, you should be able to get rid of it and clean it up nicely. So once you're happy that the back plate's nice and clean, all we've got to do now is take the other side of the adhesive off of the strips that we've been putting on the phone side. So let's go ahead and do that now. Okay, so now we're ready to apply the back plate. So before we actually stick the plate back down, it's worth just having a quick check in the camera lenses just to make sure there's no dirt or debris in there, but they look okay. So we just want to go over now to the phone and we just want to line up the back plate like so at the bottom. Just drop it in the gap like that. Just drop it down like that. Then we just want to push it all the way around the edge, just make sure it's stuck all the way around like so. And it's nice and stuck just so it can't come up. So with the adhesive I've used, as you can see, it's stuck down very well. Doesn't look like it's lifting anywhere on any of the corners or anything. If you haven't prepared the surface very well, it isn't going to stick down very well either. You need to make sure that you don't rush that step and just take your time going around cleaning both surfaces before you actually stick the back down. So we're all good. So final test just to check that everything's okay. So I'll turn the phone back on. So speaker check first. Sounds perfect. And charging port test. There we go, it's charging. We're at 85%. Let's check that it goes up to 86. And there we go, 86%. So that's all good. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll catch you all in the next one.